welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 season, as we look ahead to the magic weekend up here in Newcastle as St Helens take on the Catalan Dragons this Saturday afternoon at 5:15. Kev, I'm really looking forward to you joining us up here tomorrow. How are we getting up here?
Well, you say up here, I'm in Witness. I thought you were in Runcorn.
It is the beautiful Tyne Bridge, for those of you who aren't as educated as Kev. It is a really lovely evening up here. I'm really looking forward to getting out on the tune tonight, and I'll drive back down and pick you up in the morning, Kev.
Thanks very much. Really do appreciate it. Are you stopping in Gateshead or Newcastle?
Gateshead. I'm a cheapskate.
No, promises to be a decent day tomorrow, doesn't it? 3 games on. Looking forward to it.
Has it come a little bit too late in the season to make a really good weekend? Obviously, there's not a lot riding on many of the games.
Possibly. I mean, you say there's not a lot riding on many of the games, but we just look at ours, don't we? And I don't think there's enough being made on our game being. I don't know what that noise is, by the way. That was from your side, not mine. Just as I'm talking about not enough being made of the League Leaders Shield being at stake in our game, you're playing some kind of game or music. But it's symptomatic of it standing in the kind of tiers of cups. So you've got your grand final, you've got your Challenge Cup, which are the big two. The League Leaders Shield is like a poor substitute, unfortunately, and there should be more made of winning it. I mean, it shouldn't be a shield for a start because it's ridiculous. It should be probably the old Championship trophy to do. But yeah, there's not enough being made of that. Whether it's too late in the season, listen, COVID's obviously had a big say on that. It's a shame that it is so late. I'm not sure what the weather forecast is for our game, whether it's not so good. But it is a shame that we're not going to get a nice sunshine, a bit more like a Wembley day than we're going to get an early September Saturday afternoon.
Possibly a little bit of a smaller crowd there tomorrow. Obviously, you could probably look at the restrictions that have been placed with COVID. People still a little bit wary, or is it a case that it was really, really hard to try to buy a ticket?
Possibly. Well, people have obviously managed it. I know we had a couple of troubles. I know we had a couple of troubles. But yeah, I think people are still worried. People are still worried going up there. It's not exactly an easy place to get to for people in the northwest. It's not somewhere that you're just going to decide to go on a whim, is it? It's a great place to build Northeastern Rugby League. I saw a tweet, I think it was yesterday, from someone saying, "Oh, that's the way to grow rugby league. Take it even further into the north." A little bit me thinks, hang on a minute, we know full well that Peter Elder is coming down. I think there's a couple of Scots coming down. So listen, Peter's a big Saints fan. We know that. We know he comes down. He's on our videos quite a bit. But it's easier for them to get to. Newcastle, there's a team who want to be in Super League up there. It is a good place. I don't necessarily agree with that it's the wrong place to go. Whether it's coming to the end of its shelf life up there in the next year or two, possibly.
You say that, Kev, but we were at Anfield last time.
Well, yeah, we were. And
I think if you watch back on our videos, I think we spoke about it afterwards, and we weren't a fan, were we? Not that it did anything to do with that side of it, but it didn't feel like a magic weekend being 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is very, very true. I think if they did think of changing Magic Weekend, I think you've got to make sure you've given Newcastle the biggest push that you can. I don't necessarily think this is the right year for that, and I don't think there has been too much about it. I think it's almost hoping that rugby league fans and the Newcastle fans who have kind of started going in and getting cheaper tickets just turn out for it. But that's it. If we're going to start changing it, don't just start throwing names like Bristol or places like that at it and saying, yeah, we'll take all the teams down to Bristol. You've got to have a thought process behind it. You've got to look at where it's taking up the game. Unfortunately, there's nowhere Cornwall, Devon-wise that you would play a Magic Weekend. Bristol might be the closest, and that's where you turn around and say, well, send half the teams there, send them half somewhere else, make the weekend so it's Saturday in Bristol and Sunday in Norwich.
And make them play each other.
Yeah.
100 miles between each try line.
But yeah, listen, they've given Newcastle a good go now. Newcastle is a perfect place for if you're going up there having a couple of pints, right in the centre. It's like Cardiff, isn't it? Right in the centre. It's brilliant for your fan who wants to do that. But obviously, there's probably other places, but you've got to be strategic with it. You can't just put it where you can walk out the ground and within 15 minutes you're in a bar. That's not the point of it. Well, that wasn't the original point of it anyway.
That's the point now, isn't it?
Point for me, yeah.
I know, obviously, I've just briefly mentioned on the tickets, but the ground probably will be half empty tomorrow. You tried to buy tickets all day Wednesday, were unable to. People trying to say it was our computers. It wasn't. There was just simply no way that you could buy a ticket. And then an hour before 4 o'clock, the RFL say that they're going to be, or Super League say they're going to be taken offline and limited amounts available on the day. That seems a little bit crazy to me, because what sort of walk-up are you going to get on the day? Because nobody's going to travel all the way to Newcastle for a ticket that's supposedly limited availability. Luckily, a couple of Saints fans helped out to box you off for a ticket. So big shout out to Ryan Buckley off the Saints Facebook page and Yvonne, who actually sourced the ticket for us. So yeah, otherwise it would have been a very lonely trip up on my own.
And Paul Caswell.
Yes.
Don't forget Paul as well. Yeah, listen, I almost think that if you go into the game there, you've got a Newcastle postcode, you've got a Sunderland postcode, you've got a Gateshead postcode, whatever it is up there. And really the tickets should be even cheaper and marketed towards them. As I think I've said this in the past, where cheap tickets shouldn't be aimed at your Saints, Wigan, Leeds, Hull fans. They shouldn't. Yeah, maybe for a limited bit at the start, but they should be aimed at the people in that area. If you're building rugby league, get it built. There was an argument over whether Newcastle are playing York this weekend, and there was an argument over whether that should be part of Magic Weekend. Potentially, it could be. I know there was a couple of, I think it was Newcastle or a York fan was saying it'd be better for Newcastle it being at their ground because they'll get 3,000 in, it'll be packed, it'll be a little bit more of an atmosphere rather than playing it in front of a couple of hundred who wandered in for that first game. But listen, tickets for this should be aimed towards those up in the northeast. Same as when we played it in Manchester, it should have been aimed at Manchester. When it was in Edinburgh, aim it there. That's what it should be doing.
You've seen when there's been music festivals held here in the northwest. I think is the Warrington, is it the neighbourhood weekender festival?
Yeah.
And they get pre-sale if you've got a WA postcode or cheaper tickets with a WA postcode. Maybe you're quite right. If you've got a Newcastle postcode, your tickets should have been £10 each. If you sell 200 or 300, and then potentially they watch the Newcastle game, if they'd have played at the stadium, you might convert 150 people who'll now be on Newcastle's attendance moving forward. So I think it does probably need a little bit more thinking outside the box. Yeah,
possibly that's it. As I say, it needs to be strategic. I mean, I don't know if we're asking too much there, but there needs to be an aim there to grow the game. And by growing the game, that means going down to the local club and it's not a local club who have no aspirations of getting into Super League. They really want to get into Super League. They want to get up there, whether they're going to be good enough, whether the people in charge are going to be the right people, whether they're going to have the money, the finances, whether they're going to get the fans, all variables that could go wrong for them. But you know what? They're having they want a decent tilt at it. So why not give them the best platform possible?
Onto the squads then, Kev.
Yep. No change from last week for Saints. No changes at all in that 21-man squad. Team-wise, I mean, Jake Winfield, did he come on?
No, as far as I'm aware, he hadn't come on with 5 minutes to go anyway. So unless he snuck on, which tells you maybe if Joel Thompson's fit, you put Joel Thompson back in.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what will happen. If Joel Thompson's fit, you probably do go with the experience, unless they want to get Jake Wingfield a couple of minutes. I can only see maybe the odd little tiny change here and there, but I would fully expect to see 16 of the 17 that we saw last week turning out.
There's not much more you can say about that, is there? When it's pretty much going to be unchanged.
Not really. I mean, when I think about this game, I was having a little think, and we've played league. In fact, both us and Catalan have played league last weekend, didn't we? Same result, as in both got the wins. Looks like our game was a little bit tougher than Catalans, considering it was an absolute whitewash. Who did Catalan play on the Thursday? Have I thrown you in one there? Because I don't know it either. But I'll have a little look while I say this. But I just think back to like Magic Weekend, and I think to Easter weekend. Sorry, just having a look. Catalan played Salford. I think back to Easter weekend, and you know when you play Good Friday and then Easter Monday, it's usually not Easter Monday that gets the kind of drop off. It's the week after. I remember when Justin Holbrook played it, so he literally dropped players out, so they were only playing 2 of the 3. I think there might have only been 1 or 2 players who played all 3. We've not got really that luxury at the minute, I don't think. I just don't think that, say, the squad is as well full. You look at that, both halfbacks being out there, we couldn't do that. We're down to our last 2 proper halfbacks. So I'm a little bit worried that the quality of the game might be just that little bit lower than we would expect, just based on the game after the Easter weekend sometimes being a little bit of a drop-off.
Does that affect us more than Catalan, based on the fact that we had a really tough game against Warrington on Monday, whereas Catalan basically could have played me and you and we'd probably still walked in for a try or 2?
Potentially, but I do think that that we might have a higher intensity. Kind of the higher intensity might go for us as well. Actually being put into a bit of a battle there, I think is could well be good for us, to be fair, mate.
Is it safe to say that this game actually means more to Catalan than ourselves? And I only say that on the basis that if we win, great, it lays down a marker for us. But chances are we're still going to finish second, with Catalan only having Huddersfield and Wigan left to beat to finish top should they lose. But Catalan know that they can win, they can box it off, they can claim the league leaders shield on home soil against Huddersfield, or lift the trophy or the shield as it may be at home in France, and be able to rest players up ahead of the playoffs. So will there be a little bit of more incentive for them to try and get the job done on Saturday?
Not necessarily, no. You're talking about resting players. There's only 2 rounds after this, and then we're into the playoffs. I don't think so. I think Rod Studd doesn't believe in momentum. But if you've got a winning culture in your club, you just want to keep winning. And I think that's important for both of us. We'll still be striving until it's completely impossible, which it might be come 8 o'clock on Saturday. We'll still be striving to finish top. Because you do, as I've just said, there's not enough made of the league leaders shield, and it's symptomatic of it standing in the cups that there's not been much made of it. But you still want to win it. You still want to be the ones who finish top. It'd be great for the game if Catalan can do it for a couple of years. I'm not saying like year after year after year, but it'd be good for the game if they could, because it just kind of builds the game over in France a little bit more and gives them a couple more column inches, whether it be on the internet or in a newspaper. But I don't think it necessarily means more to them.
It came in handy, that Catalan-Warrington game getting postponed, didn't it?
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on. The Catalan squad.
That doesn't look like the Catalan squad.
That
That does. Yeah, listen, I said it when we've played them before. They've got players who can hurt you all over the park. I think Dean Ware's come back in this time. Matt Whitley as well, I think, is the other one who's come back in. That's a decent squad, that. And we're going to have to be at the same intensity as we were against Warrington to come away with the victory.
Only changes in the Catalan squad: Dean Ware and Matt Whitley come back in. I'm not entirely sure who drops out. But they've gone well this year, and it's going to be a tough game for us.
Yeah, I've literally just said them 2 changes as well. Thanks for reiterating them. But yeah, listen, that's it. They've got some really, really good, skillful, quick players. Maloney and Drinkwater have been around for plenty of time, haven't they? Arthur Morgan always looks good whenever he plays. He just looks like someone who's going to be a star in the future. Sam Tompkins is arguably playing some of the best rugby of his career. And then, as we say, like Matt Whitley coming back in, Mike McMeekan, both seem to be enjoying it at Catalan. Listen, they're a dangerous team. They are a dangerous team.
Yeah,
we need to be on it. Because that's it. I did get a message. Sorry, I got a message off. You know, Adam Berry, who has been on before, the Warrington fan.
Yeah.
He was looking for us from the Warrington instant fan reaction, but obviously we had to move because there was a bit of a scuffle outside, wasn't there? So we moved off somewhere a little bit quieter. Yeah. And he's given out his opinion. And I won't read it all out, but he's just saying that. Second half, we managed the game really well, which frustrated him, and that's literally what we've got to do. We said, I thought you played brilliantly and you didn't get out of second gear. Listen, that means we've still got that in the tank. And it's well, he said again, you deserve the win easily, and in his opinion, you're the team to beat. I think this is a good barometer for that. I think this is a very good barometer from a neutral for this game to say that. It's quite big to say we're the team to beat. Brave shout. Yeah,
and obviously Catalan have got some really skillful players, the likes of James Maloney, Josh Drinkwater, been around forever. Arthur Morg playing well, Matt Whitley. Are you going to start reading Adam's message in a minute as well? Sorry, did somebody send a message in? I just want to say Caesar Rouge sounds like a really nice salad dressing.
Tell him to his face.
Nice Caesar sauce with a little black currant. Funny word that goes with it. Ripple.
Like a jus?
Yes, something like that. That is the word I was looking for, Kev. Master Chef. Okay.
I do watch Master Chef as well, you can tell.
Predictions then, Kev?
Tight. Saints by 6.
Now, seems like I feel like I'm on Eurovision. This is the result of the Newcastle jury. Hello! And then I'll waffle on for a little bit like I normally do. And then they'll be like, come on, just give us your scores. So I'd say I would give Catalans 14 points. But everybody, we're giving our maximum points of 22 to St. Helens.
So you're saying Saints by 8?
Yeah.
No.
Your maths is great, Kev. Well done.
Is that another bet we're going to have a look at? Saints by 6 to 8 or something like that. 6 to 10.
Yeah, right. Moving on to the other news of the week then. The signing of Curtis Sirenen for 2022 onwards. Really, really good signing for the club. We've got a couple of mates down in Oz who rate him really, really highly. Worth the wait?
Yeah, I think from everything that I hear, I don't follow the NRL, as people will know. He's starting to excite Saints fans. The fact that he's coming over. From a couple of things I noticed, 6'4" and over 17 stone, so he's a unit. So imagine him, Alex Walmsley. If Dan Norman gets a start next year, there's going to be some wrecking balls in that pack, aren't there? He has had a couple of injuries. I know his career hasn't kind of probably gone the way that he wants it to, with a couple of niggling injuries. I think he's had a knee injury this year as well. So hopefully he can come over here and kind of get over that and get into a nice rhythm playing for us.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a few more still to come. Did you watch his interview on Saints TV, Kev?
I've not seen it yet. No, mate, I haven't.
How many mates do you reckon he can say in the space of 10.5 minutes, mate?
What do you reckon? 3 every minute or something? Don't know. Probably.
For those who saw the tweet last night, I was that sad. I actually sat here and had to keep a tally. Every time he said mate, I pressed an A on my keyboard to add them up at the end. 40 times in 10.5 minutes.
Excellent.
Quite spectacular. Excellent. I just wonder whether there was actually a bit of a running bet on how many times you can say a certain word during the interview. I don't think Paul Sculthorpe said as much, but as somebody pointed out earlier, it's still not as good as Chris Joynt's, you know.
Well, that's it. Listen, as I say, he seems like a big lad, 6'4" and over 17 stone, coming in as a second row. But I actually had a little look at his stats. He's played 20 times at halfback. He started in the Aussie leagues. He started 97 games at second row or 13, and 20 at halfback. And to be honest, the challenge now is for us to get a song. And I'm just thinking Curtis Sirenen fits with Sally Cinnamon. So there's your challenge. Looking at probably Luke Wellens or you. Get a song going for him.
Throw that one. I could have had one ready, Kev.
Yeah. It's all right. I'll let you write one tomorrow. You can bore me with it tomorrow.
Right. The other big news of the week, the re-signing of Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook for another year. How good's that hair? That's the first thing.
Listen, I'm very jealous of that hair.
He could lend you some, Kevin. Still have enough.
He'd still have more than enough.
You'd have to be a little bit silly not to want Louis to stay another year, given how much he still contributes to the team. There's only the odd person who doesn't really like him anymore, but for the rest of us, more than happy to see him in the Redvee.
Listen, I think with Dan Norman coming through as well, obviously we've got Matty Lees, Iggy Parsi, Alex Walmsley, Dan Norman. We've got Morgan Knowles who can prop. We've got Joe Batchelor's played 13, which is almost like another prop these days. There's quite a few who can do that. To have been at the club for, this will be his 12th season, won trophies and been kept on by so many coaches, you'd have to think that he's doing something right, isn't he? He gets under the skin of other teams' fans, which I absolutely love. But you know what? I bet, and people will say, well, it doesn't matter if he's around the dressing room, if he's a big character or whatever, that doesn't matter. It's what he does on the field. But you just see like Alex Walmsley's reaction to him signing and making the joke of like, oh, not again, not another year. And it's people like Louis. and he's one of them characters who will kind of in the changing rooms and that will be somebody who will be buzzing and get you up for big games. He's got a load of experience now. It might be one of them that he plays a few more reduced minutes, but listen, if he's still making meters, still making tackles, who's to say he's not a big part of us next year as well?
Until Curtis, I was never happy. I needed so much more. Rain clouds, oh, they used to chase me. Down they would pour. Join my tears, allay my fears. Sent to me from heaven. Curtis Cernan, you're my world.
You know what? You could almost change that. If he gets Joel Thompson's shirt, I think he tends to play 12, but if he gets Joel Thompson's shirt, it could be, instead of sent to me from heaven, we're in number 11.
Oh,
Anyway. Are you now writing songs?
Yeah, live. Until Curtis, I was never happy. Until Curtis, I was never happy. I needed so much more. Rain clouds, oh, they used to chase me. Down they would pour. Join my tears, allay my fears. We're in number 11. Curtis Cernan, you're my world.
There we go. Well written, David. Well written. Now, can you do one to the Weller Man? Because I bet it'd fit that one.
So the what?
The Weller Man. The sea shanty that was going round a couple of months ago. Have you been under a rock that you've never heard the Weller Man?
Must be.
Shocking.
Can we still finish top, Kev?
Yes. Of course
we can. It's
mathematically possible. What was that?
Will we finish top, Kev?
No, we'll finish second. I can't see Catalans losing another game after Saturday. And I think that'll just be the too much for us. I think them they'll lose. They won't lose another game after Saturday. But we need to get it done just so we can finish second and we can not take our foot off the gas. I don't think there'll be too many changes, but it might give you the chance to give Jake Wingfield some minutes. It might give you the chance, God forbid, Dan Norman gets a game or some minutes, but it might just give you that possibility against Salford and against Leeds, which are coming up. It might just give you that opportunity to throw the odd lad in, give somebody a bit of a rest if they have got a little bit of a niggle, but you're not going to go wholesale changes.
There was once a kid that was put in a Redvee. The name of the kid was Jack Wellsby.
No, stop it. You'll be singing, you'll be doing it soon. Soon will Kurt Sirensen come.
That's quite good. There was once a kid in the Redvee. The name of the kid was Jack Wellsby.
Jack Wellsby's got about 400 songs about him.
And deservedly so.
And Johnny Lomax still hasn't got one. That should be the thing.
He has. Nah.
Yeah. So, should sing that more, really. Show him some love.
Who else needs a song for next year?
Will Hoppoati. I'll leave that one to you.
Yeah.
I think we've droned on too long trying to beat you over there, Ivor Novello, trying to write your tunes. Anyway, it's looking a lot darker further north than it is here. So I'll have to let you go because it must be getting past your bedtime.
It's the few. Oh!
You don't think that we think you're sitting in the middle of a river?
I'm not. I'm on the quayside.
Oh, yeah, looks it, yeah. I love how it shapes your head.
I'm surprised you haven't said my head's as big as the bridge.
No, it does look a bit like a hat. Look like Nelson.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I want to just say, after you've sat here for 20 minutes watching this, if you're watching it tonight, the A1's got loads of roadwork, so give yourself plenty of time. And if you're watching this about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on Saturday while you're sat on the A1, well, you should have watched it on Friday, shouldn't you? Catch you soon.